Welcome to the Doodad channel if you're joining us for the first time. If you've been here before and you're back for more videos, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. In this video, we will be doing all of the framing, the plumbing, and the fixturing, getting this bathroom ready for drywall. Okay, we've got all the subfloor just fit in here, and we've marked all the floor joists, and now we'll take all this back up, glue it with construction adhesive, and screw it all down to make this floor nice and solid. That's the next thing we're doing in here. Got Amber again over here for the remainder of the day, it seems like. Cleaning, vacuuming, cleaning, making more mess than cleaning. .48 and up.
48's the center. That only go back that far.
Right, those are the notches that you're going to.
Sit on here.
Yep. No. Yep.
Like that.
Just like so. You just tap it in. Good day. Here we are getting ready to get started again today. Today we will be taking the film off of that shower and getting it put in. Doing the plumbing, getting the drain all set up, and we'll be working on the plumbing for the shower, making sure that everything down in the basement is ready to go, and kind of prepping this area for all the sheetrock. Okay, what we're getting ready to do here, this is the plumbing that was for the vanity down there. This is obviously the drain plumbing. It came over here and it come up through. This was the old drain for the old shower. So this came up through here and was there. We've got to extend that plumbing to over here and come down beside this light and end up right there. That hole right there is the new drain for the plumbing. So we've got to get that done. And then these were the hot and cold for the shower. We'll be extending those along here and going up through the wall, and we'll show you that process. So what we're going to do here is install this drain so that we have something to go to. Just going to take those two little screws out, and this sits down in that hole like that. I say that this step here is not completely necessary, but I do it anyway, and I'm going to. This is plumber's putty, just regular plumber's putty. Take a little bit of that, turn it into a little rope. The rest of all this goes downstairs. So you stick that in the hole there. Make sure your putty is out where it'll at least hit. Just adds a little bit more protection, a little bit more seal. You can put silicone in here, but I'd much rather use the putty. I just like that idea better. So you stick that in there, that'll kind of stick. These pieces is a rubber gasket, it goes under, and then this is what this nut runs on. We'll go down, get that put in. You see that there, that is gasket. The slip part of the gasket goes against the nut. Make sure that these stay where they're supposed to. Okay, and as you can see, that putty kind of comes out from around there a little bit. That's nice and tight. It's in there where it's supposed to be. I like to take something and pick that plumber's putty out of there before I get done. This has got a cover on it, and I like to leave that cover on there until I'm all done because that'll keep debris from falling down in my drain. So that's it for the drain, and we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, the next thing I got to do, this is the drain. I'm going to extend it out here and get it down here close to this drain for the bathtub. You'll notice I'm going to dry fit it all together and then come back and glue it all. I'm just trying to get a rough idea of the length of this pipe, this drop pipe. I'm going to want this up about as high as I can get it so I can get as much drain as I can. So looks like about 13 inches. Got up there and we got that pretty close to where that goes. Now we can measure this one. About 28 and a half. Okay, so that appears like it's all going to fit up nice. One thing I wanted to touch on here though is anytime you do any plumbing like this, you have to make sure you maintain drain the whole way. So I know that this pipe drains this way to this. It's draining, it's just a little high on that end. So it's got just a little bit of drain, and that's probably enough. This pipe here, it's got about 1/4 of a bubble of drain. I know that one's got drain, so you just check this to make sure that you're going the right direction. We've got more than enough there, more than enough drain, as we are that much. We're about, a little less than a 1/2 inch of drain from this to here, and we know that that water is going to drain like it should. Yeah, I got a little better level here that I can get right on the pipe so you can see a little bit better. That is the drain. There's that much. That's the drain there. This drain should be the other way. Should be this way, and it is, and that's to the sink, and then this drain should go back to the stack, which it does, it goes that way. Little tip for this plumbing. I've got this all mocked up, but it's just mocked up. Nothing is glued. You can take a marker, take a magic marker, and mark these in line with where you want them glued. Just pick something there, mark it, and where you can see it well, just anywhere here where you can see it good. And that will give you a little bit of a guide to when you glue this back together, because obviously you can't glue every piece of it all at once. So this will give us a good guide to go back together with so that we're gluing these pieces in the right position. Now, this is fairly straight. This is fairly straight. This will go in this way. So keep in mind when you're gluing these up, how it all goes together. I'm gonna start at the drain and run back this way because this connection will be the last one, and there'll be enough movement in that pipe that I can put that last one in this way and not have an issue. Okay, now the last thing that we got here to support that pipe a little bit better, we got one of these J-hooks. I'm gonna put that J-hook on there. It'll pop in. You don't want to put a lot of tension on that, but you just want it to support it. So we'll put a nail in. We'll just get it so that the pipe is supported. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put the shower diverter valve in. We're looking here. This tells you up. This is the up side. This is where we're putting it in. We're at the back side of the shower here. And I'm gonna pick a spot to put this. So what I'm gonna do is, this is the plate that goes on the back side. Goes like this over there. I want room to put a fitting here, and then the fitting will be fine there. So I want this fitting to be able to go in and go down. So I'm gonna pick a spot there that I have enough room. I'm not really worried about it being centered in here, but it has to be on this flat part right here. So I'm gonna pick that and make sure that I got room for a support across there, and mark these. And I'll show you. That's not where I wanted it. Why I'm doing this, what goes on is this sticks through that wall, and then the other piece goes over here, and there's rubber O-rings that seal that off, and it'll seal around this. So I can seal this around the back in here. It'll sit like that. When we put that in, it'll be nice and sturdy. So then what I've got is some hole saws here that are big enough for this and this to go through, and I'll drill them holes, and then we'll get that situated in there. just got that roughed in. I'm going to have to take that back out to put some of the fittings on. But what I've got to go get some fittings. I'm gonna go get a straight and 2 90s and a straight fitting, and that will allow me to put the wand on and get the rest of that plumbing in. So this is what it ends up looking like. Once we get this, we'll seal around these a little with some stuff, but you don't really need to because it's sealed back here. We'll seal a little bit around this just to keep water from getting back in there. But this is the look of that when it's completed there. Looks pretty good. And then we'll have somewhere else here, we'll have the wand. Okay, so we can go just over a little bit and we'll be fine with those. Okay, I'm going to take this back off of here. So I can get my fittings put on there. How you doing, bud? How come you're not helping? Huh? Don't tell me, no thumbs. No thumbs? put that across there so that this has a place to ride against. That'll hit that, and that will get that right out to the sheetrock, because the sheetrock will be right against that. So that'll be as far out in the shower as I can get that. That's why I did that. Let me just take this back off here. That on there so I don't scratch up things. And this is the pipe that will go in there when we're all done. So that's where the shower head will hit, just to make sure that a 6 foot tall guy can be underneath this shower. I'm going to screw this on here. And make sure that the shower head's in the right place and it looks perfect. So we'll leave that and take all that back off there, and then I will put just a temporary pipe this is just an old shower pipe extension. I might try to stand that up just a little bit. I'll put an old extension in here just to protect it, and when I go test this water, then it'll come out this pipe. What we'll have to do under here is connect this upper one okay, so that is the plumbing in the wall for that shower. We've got this all complete. Now we'll go back to the basement. Sticking this fixture together. So that'll be just like that. That is adjustable, but that's how that one works. You can adjust this up and down too. And we'll put the handles on there after we glue everything. But this is how that's going to turn out, just like that. There'll be a shower head clear out here and that'll work. Okay, so here we are back down in the basement. We just got to determine which one of these is hot and cold. Should be pretty easy, just follow from the hot side of the hot water heater. This is hot, this is cold. So I will just mark it. Hot and cold. We're gonna have to shut the water off. Put that off. I'll go up and drain the water, and we'll get started here. Okay, even though I said we were draining the water, we did let the pressure off up there, but there is going to be a lot of water in these pipes because there's no place to drain it from the basement. So if you're wondering, said you drained the water. I'm gonna use this one actually, because I can go straight that way with it. Made a big mess. It drains everything from that faucet on down here. That's kind of a pain. But it's okay. It'll dry up. So together. So what I'm going to do to join those, instead of crimping them, just in case I ever have a problem and I need to get it apart here, I'm going to use these quick connectors. For this. You have clip and part, that's it. There's the hot water line. This one, I'm going to cut it off here and put this up here and put an elbow right there, and that'll be this one. And I'm sure we'll make another great big mess with this. Not near as much. That's good. Alright, there we go. I didn't have it all in there. Clips there to keep things from rattling around. And with any luck at all, I'll go ahead and leave the camera on while I turn it on, and we'll see if we got any leaks. Or we'll better go upstairs and look. There's cold water on. So yeah, it looks good. It don't look like we got any leaks. I'll check on that several times in the next few hours just to make sure. But that is all of the plumbing for moving that shower. Wasn't really that big of a deal. Of course, I had a good plumber here to do most of the house, and we knew that this was going on, so he left this easy for me to do. I very much appreciate that. So checking for any leaks on the back of this, seeing how we know we're pressured up. I don't see any leaks at all. I took that plastic off there. I will tape that back up when I'm done, just to make sure I don't get a bunch of stuff down in there. So we got this on the shower head, so it should come out of here. So we got water coming out of there. I'll turn it on hot and make sure that we get hot water. Shouldn't take too long, we're not very far. So that's hot water. Make sure it's cold water, and that's cold water. So put that on. If we switch to that, then we'll switch over to the shower head, and oh, and it's got a momentary. That's kind of nice. Switches. Shower head. So I'd say that's a successful install, and we'll keep moving from there. That I do want to make, I'm going to let that run. I'm going to go in the basement and make sure that the drain is not leaking. And here's the drain. It's running down in there. Another good thing to do is check the piping around where you fixed, because sometimes when you cut or move, it can cause cracks or problems, but it looks like we're in good shape. So now we'll move on to drywall. Thank you for watching this video. In the next video, we'll be covering hanging the drywall, finishing the drywall, and primering and paint. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like and a thumbs up, and watch for the next video. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.